We're talking the University of Scranton Wrestling. Al Rusomano joining us. And Coach, first up, some success this year, which is great, off of a historical year last year. So let's talk about last year and then building off of that.
Yeah, well, last year was a phenomenal year. We broke the all-time win record in history, probably since 1968 when the program was started. You know, it was, I knew we had a good team, but did I think it'd go that far? We ended up going 12-0 till we got beat by a high-ranked team. And we finished out the year beating the all-time win record. It was so exciting.
Talk about bringing in a new class this year and the type of student athletes you get at the University of Scranton. You know, academically they're going to be sound, and then you know, you get some wrestling background to them. It's a pretty nice combination.
Oh yeah, John. It's you know, well, first of all, high academics at the University of Scranton, which is very, very important. But I have to say our recruiting has been on top notch the past several years, and we built that. We lost 2 seniors last year, and they were both very, very good, but we kind of replaced them, and we're pretty close to having almost the same season as last year. Well, first of all, I'd like to mention one of our captains, DiAgostini. He's 15-1, and he's, you know, we're pushing the issue. We're hoping to get him to the Nationals. He's away tonight with a job interview for an internship. Busy guys, they're all busy. We have a guy here tonight, Nick Ciacci. He's a sophomore. He wins a lot of bouts for us. He occasionally loses to your higher level, a wrestler, and he's always in it, and he scores us a lot of points because he's a pinner. He's actually chasing the pin all-time record this year. And also, we have Nick DePiro with us. He's down there at 125, 133, a senior. Nick is as tough as they come. Unfortunately, this year we've been battling a few illnesses and injuries with him. We're hoping to have him 100% within a week or 2, and I think he's going to do some damage in the national qualifier. We have Zach Diapolito. He's a senior. Zach's usually a late starter, and we get him rolling halfway through the season, and the last couple of weeks he's been clicking. We have a backup to Nick tonight, Ciacci, Kevin Pompilio. He's a backup to the pinner I was telling you about. So very important having good backups. He's battling every single night trying to get in the lineup, and fortunately whenever we do have a starter that's not able, our backups that come in are pretty close, and that helps us with this success.
Let's talk about your wrestling background and what you have done at the University of Scranton.
Well, I'm there 12 years now, but I wrestled in the early 70s for Scranton High for 3 years. I ended up getting a wake-up call when I went to Keystone College, and I wrestled under Larry Funicola, national champ, way ahead of his time. And ever since, I've wrestled AAUs. I actually was 49 years old. I made it to Eastern Nationals at that time. I'm quite a bit older now. I was at Scranton High School for 9 years, very successful there. I was at Elk Lake prior to that for 4 years. And I've been in the sport, John, since 1971.
Ain't easy, but wrestling has changed over the years. And as far as what you're getting from these guys and knowing what they have to do in the classroom and what they're able to do on the mat, it's a big balancing act. And obviously, you know, as you grow older as a coach, you have to adjust with the times a little bit, but there's probably still a little bit of that old school stuff in you, which is important for today's wrestler.
Most definitely. I've been blessed with starting out years ago when it was a shorter muscle man sport. The stronger guy had the advantage. Not this day and age. Strength helps, don't take me wrong. A lot of leverage today. And of course, throughout all these years, I've been being with many coaches' clinics. You know, I've been conditioned in many places. A lot of Greco freestyle, and you try to keep incorporated into one. Now, the fortunate thing about collegiate wrestling, 98% of the guys I get are all very well qualified. They know how to wrestle. So all we try to do is perfect what they got.
Well, Coach, great to catch up with you, and keep it going at the University of Scranton. Again, building off of last year and what you guys are doing this year. We wish you the best through the rest of the season.
John, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Nick Chiaccia joining us. He's a sophomore at the University of Scranton Wrestling Program. And Nick, 141 is the weight.
That's it.
You got to keep it in check. Not easy to do. Talk about the balance at the college level of wrestling. I mean, you got the academics, you got the wrestling. The weight's got to be another component of it. And then at some point you got to have a little bit of a social life to kind of balance the whole thing. How challenging has it been for you?
It was a tough adjustment last year, but after being in it for a season, like you kind of get you get the feel for it. Decided not to cut as much weight this year, so I'm kind of going to like a natural weight. It's good for me.
Building off a big year last year, talk about what you brought into 2017-18.
I've always just been a tough kid on top, so I've been keeping that going and trying to set a record this year for the team.
You got an older brother, Mike. Tell us a little bit about him and what he's up to.
He graduated from Fairleigh Dickinson. He's about to start working for a bank, and he's another business major as well.
Business, history, couple things you're involved with there at the University of Scranton. What is it about what you like about that area?
I've always been a part of some kind of business, whatever it was. I like the hustle, and I had a teacher this year, Dr. Welsh. He really helped me perfect my business skills, and he wants us to keep me and move forward.
One of the goals you have is starting your own clothing brand. Talk about that vision that you have right now.
Yeah, well, I'm involved in one brand called Prosper. Some friends at school, we started in the dorm, and it's taken off pretty well, but I have a vision of my own. Not going to share what it is yet, just to keep it a little low-key.
Let's talk about your dad as one of your inspirations.
He's always just been like a tough guy. Like he just kept me motivated. Like just to do like priorities straight and like do well in school, do well in wrestling, and just like tough things out. Like not just like let things just push you over.
Tell us where you call home and what it was like growing up and how that made you into the young man that you are.
I'm from Freehold, New Jersey. It's kind of by the shore. I didn't go there to high school. Like it was different. It was a weird transition. I went to Howell High School, so pretty much more or less to wrestle, and it was a good transition. But I like the area and competitive of wrestling all around.
How about some of the dudes on the team? Talk about your relationship here at the University of Scranton with the guys.
Great guys. Captains are some of the best kids I've ever met. Dan Agostani, Zach Dapolito, and Nick DiPiero. All great guys. They try and keep me motivated, help me do well in class, and I can't thank them enough for it.
Nick, we appreciate your story and keep grinding, all right?
All right, thank you.
Kevin Pompilio with us. He's a sophomore. And Kevin, let's talk about the weights that you're hitting there at the University of Scranton this year.
Well, I alternate between 141 and 149. Started off the season 141, cutting a little weight. But since we lost a couple backups at 149, coach has asked me to go up to that weight class. And basically, wherever they need me, I alternate. I go wherever they tell me to go.
Youngest in your family, so talk about the other people in the family and what their role is as siblings.
Well, Patrick is my one blood brother. He's, I grew up with him. Wasn't always easy, but overall we love each other. We have a great relationship, and he's been my best brother, for my whole life. And Matt is my stepbrother. Megan's my stepsister. They've been in my life for about 6 or 7 years now. They all helped me grow up. They all helped me become the person I am today. They all helped me mature so much over the years, and I don't know if I see them as my role models, but they're my siblings. I love them, and I wouldn't be the person I am without them.
Math and accounting, a couple of areas that you're concentrating at the University of Scranton. Talk about why you're excelling there.
Well, my dad's a businessman. Business runs in our family, and he, taught us to do business. Took us to work a lot of times. Took it to his office to show us what he does. Taught us a lot of what he does, and he showed us all the different branches of business that there is. He taught my brother to do marketing and finance. I branched off and did a little more accounting work and found out that it's my passion, that I love it. I've always been a very analytical, math type of person. I love math, and I just love the numbers. I love working with numbers. I love accounting, and it's definitely what I want to do later in life.
I love the goal after college here. Work in the city. I'm guessing that's New York City.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about why and what you'd like to do.
I have a very strong connection with a company called PwC, one of the big four accounting firms in the city. Very good friends, very good family friends with a partner who works there. He's been there for 30-something years now, and I visited with them. I've done a little job shadowing with them. It's great. I love it. I love the area. I love the city. Just an awesome place to be, awesome place to live. Expensive, but I think it's all worth it in the end. And it's just, ever since the last time I went there, I knew it's where I wanted to be in my life.
Always love hearing about grandparents as role models. So share your story about who they are, what they do, and why it's important.
Well, my dad's father, my grandpa, he passed away when I was really young, and so I didn't really get to know him that well, but I love hearing all the stories about him. I love hearing all the ways he used to mess with us and all that. But my grandma and my grandpa, they both passed away kind of next to each other when I was 16, and actually when I was 17. They were both huge role models in my life. They both taught me so much. They both loved me and cared for me, and every time I go to wrestle, I'm thinking of them. I know that they're looking back at me. I know they helped me become the person I am today just by loving me and caring for me, teaching me so many things in life, helping me mature as a person. That's why I look up to them now, to this day. I know they're always looking down at me. I'm always looking back up at them, and overall, I owe them everything. And I love them, and I always will.
Appreciate you sharing that personal story. Talk about where you call home.
Where I call home, well, this is a home to me. I have more than one home. My home is back in New Jersey, kind of where Nick was. I'm around the Jersey Shore area too. I grew up, in a small town, beach town. Love where I live, love where my family is, but I also love here too because these guys are my second family. I love them so much. I love where I live. Completely different environment, but overall, I'm so happy with the choice I made. I love both my homes. I love Scranton and I love New Jersey.
Kevin, we appreciate what you've told us today. It sounds like you got a pretty darn good plan, and keep working at it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Kevin Merle with us from the University of Scranton Wrestling here on the John Mendola Show. And Kevin, congratulations. Big win for you at a big tournament. You guys won it as a team at Washington and Lee, and you had a title.
Yeah, it was great. We had around 20 kids wrestle in this tournament, and almost everyone placed in this tournament. I came out with the first, winning it, and it was just great. Everybody wrestled well, and we won that title, which was the first that the University of Scranton ever won an invitational, and I'm just glad to be a part of that.
Take us through your bracket and each opponent as you remember and what you were able to do.
Okay, well, I was seeded first in this tournament, and the first kid I almost pinned and tech called him. The score was 14-1, and then the next kid I had to face was an old teammate, Andrew Gambas. And we had a very good match all the way into double sudden victory overtime, and I won that one by a takedown, and it was like a 9-minute match, so it was very competitive for both of us. And then with the championship match, I pinned the kid in around 2 minutes, so it was a good tournament for me.
Let's talk about older brother Steven.
Actually, he's my twin brother. So.
All right, let me try that again. I had a feeling he was, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, yeah.
Let's talk about your twin brother Steven.
Yes, practically we're twins. We do almost everything together. He was on the wrestling team with us, but he got injured and he had to take some time off. But he's practically my roommate in the dorm. He's with everything that I do. We do everything together.
Criminal justice, talk about that.
Yes, I'm majoring in criminal justice. It's like what I want to do with my life. It's like what I want to do out of college. I want to get a job in the federal agency. It's just what I inspire to do.
You're doing real well in the classroom. How about the challenges there at the University of Scranton academically? Raises the bar a little bit, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah, it's a very good academic school, and it just wants to make you strive to do better. And it just keeps pushing you to do your best that you can possibly do.
And getting a job in the federal agency is something you're looking at with criminal justice?
Yes, I planned on trying to get to one of the federal agencies with like the FBI, DEA, or the Marshals. I plan on doing an internship around them next semester too.
How about your parents? Tell us a little bit about them.
Especially my dad. He's my role model. He supports me with everything I do. He comes to every match that we had. since I was a freshman. Even the tournament down in Virginia, Washington Lee, he drove 6 hours all the way down there to see me wrestle, and I won that tournament. So he's glad to be there.
Be with these guys, talk about what it's like to be at the University of Scranton, and you guys having success.
Oh, it's great. We have a great team. Everybody likes each other. We really work well together, and we work hard in the wrestling room to achieve one of the best teams that Scranton that ever had for the wrestling team.
Kevin, keep up the good work. Great to hear about you.
Yes, thank you.
Zach Dapolito joining us from the University of Scranton Wrestling. And Zach, let's talk what weight you're wrestling this year as a senior.
So I'm wrestling 174. I used to be 165 my first 2 years, but now I'm bumping up a little bit.
How about the success you're having so far this season?
It's going pretty well. This team's come a long way from what we used to be, and it just feels good to finally be at the point we're at. Our record's 6-2. Everyone's just really striding right now, and they're getting to the peak of their season.
You've got a big family. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about being in your family. What's it like?
All brothers, it's competitive, but it's always a good time. Never quiet around the house, and there's got to be a lot of food in the cabinets, that's for sure.
Let's talk about your hometown, where you're from, and what's it like there, and what you learned from some of the people around you.
So I'm from Wayne, New Jersey. It's the northern area of Jersey, and it was a very close community, and everyone's always looking out for each other. A lot of good role models, especially the wrestling coaches I've had throughout my life have given me a lot of inspiration, and I still keep in touch with them today, even the rec coaches back when I was younger. They just always are looking out for you, and you can always count on them to fall back on if you need some advice or anything like that.
Let's talk about your major at the University of Scranton and what the plans are here for the future.
So I'm a finance major, and I'm going to be doing another year at Scranton for grad school. I'm thinking about coming on the wrestling team as like an assistant coach and just helping out with them, and just looking for a summer internship as of right now.
Let's talk about your dad.
So my dad, obviously with 4 boys, he's been a great role model for all of us. Like, I know any of them would say the same. And he was an athlete himself too, so just getting good advice from him in terms of if I'm feeling a little less motivated or after a big loss or something like that, he just kind of really knows what to say or what to do at that moment.
Let's talk about your coach and him
Yeah.
inspiring you, what he does in practice, the kind of guy that he is.
So, I mean, I know Coach Al for 4 years now, and we have a real close relationship, which I'm happy to say. He's a great guy, and he looks out for all of the wrestlers like it's his family, basically. He's always looking to push you in practice, same with our other coaches, and he's basically just trying to get the best out of you.
Well, Zach, we wish you the best with your plans going forward, and maybe get into that grad school, coach it a little bit at the University of Scranton, and go get him on the mat the rest of this year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Nick DeFiro joining us from the University of Scranton Wrestling here on the John Mendola Show. And Nick, it's your senior year. You having some fun?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How about making weight, man? Is that still a grind over the years?
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 8 years now through high school, and it's kind of like a lifestyle almost. Even holidays, always cutting weights. Not fun, but
133. That's not an easy
started
weight.
out at 25 and realized, 21 years old, can't make that anymore, so bumped up to 33.
Let's talk a little bit about your wrestling style. What kind of style would you say you have?
I'm definitely more defensive. Like, I let people attack me, and then more on the defensive, more of a thrower, and yeah.
Overall, you got a big family, so take us through the family and who's who and what they're doing.
Well, I have 2 older brothers, 1 younger brother. My oldest brother, Anthony, is a security guard at Harvard. My second oldest brother, Mike, is a civil engineer. And my youngest brother is in middle school, and my mom and dad are at home working.
Any other wrestlers?
They're all wrestling families.
Big wrestling family.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Talk about the people in the stands rooting you on.
Well, definitely got a lot bigger this year over the past. When I transferred here sophomore year, there's like no one in the stands. Now it's that the team got a lot better. We're having friends come in. The stands are definitely filling up, and it's definitely a better area to like wrestle in. It's definitely a lot of fun.
How about the support there at the University of Scranton with the student athletes, whether it's basketball or wrestling or whatever sports, you feel like many of the other sports people are supporting each other?
Yeah. Like I said, when I first transferred in, not everybody knew that there was a wrestling team at the school, and now people know there is. Even the other sports teams are congratulating us, and it's finally good to see that the wrestling team's getting something, not always like the basketball team or the baseball team always getting all the publicity.
Robotics and electromagnetics, not a typical thing that people do.
Yeah, I'm more on the nerdy side.
That's okay. That's cool. Tell us a little bit about it, because interested to hear.
Well, I'm an electrical engineering major, and I've always been into technology and all the physics and how everything works. So I can say, like, yeah, they're not the easiest classes, but definitely like best things to learn, the coolest things to learn. So
Holding your weight, and that GPA is looking pretty darn good on paper at 3.6. Let's talk about the goals going forward. What you hope to do with it?
Well, as of right now, I have a job at BAE Systems. They're a military contracted defense company, so I'll be working with them and for as long as I live, I guess you could say.
And as far as your dad and your brother, a couple of those guys in your life, tell us a little bit about what they do that kind of makes your life be as successful as you've had it.
Well, learning like my dad's history and stuff like that, definitely like learn from the good and the bad and stuff like that. He motivates me to keep going, same thing with my mom, my brothers. They're always constantly motivating me, like when I'm cutting weight, they motivate me to like work harder, just suck it up. Like back to my last year left, there's a lot of stuff that like I didn't want to do anymore about cutting weight, but they said suck it up, you only have 1 year left. And like I said, they all been down the road before, other than my mom, like all my father, my brother's been down the road before. They said suck it up, it's gonna be worth it. And then my mom's just there to make sure my health is good and keep me motivated and happy doing it.
Well, Dick, go get him on the mat. Thanks for telling us your story at the University of Scranton, and good luck there in the workforce. Sounds like you got your stuff all ready together.
Yeah, thank you, sir.